Okay, so question 13, you've got 10 girls in a class get a mean mark of 70% and 15 boys in the class get a mean mark of 80%. Nick says that because the mean of 70 and 80 is 75, then the mean mark for the whole class in the test is 75. It tells you Nick is not correct. Some of you try to argue that Nick was correct. It tells you in the question he's not. Let's try and clear this up. If there were the same number of girls and boys, let's say there was 10 girls and 10 boys, or 15 girls and 15 boys, if there was the same number, then the mean would be the average of these two. But because there's more boys than girls, there's more people that represent this higher mean than there is people that represent this lower mean. So one way of doing it, because there are more boys than girls, and it's the boys that got the higher percentage, 80% rather than 70%, the mean will be closer to 80%, because that's what the boys got and there's more of them, than 70%. Now if you want to be really accurate with this, and be specific, so because it says is the correct mean mark less than or greater than 70%, we'll just say in brackets more than 75%. We said it's closer to 80% than 70%, but to be specific, more than 75%. To work out the actual mean percentage, you don't have to do it in this question, but one way of being really accurate, if the mean percentage of the boys was 80%, we could do 15 lots of 80, and there's 10 girls that got 70%, so if we add on 10 lots of 70, if we do the total percentage for all the boys added to the total percentage for all the girls, and we divide that by the total number of students by 25. Okay, we can't use a calculator for this because it's a non-calc paper, but if we work that out, that's 800, that's 1,200 plus 700 divided by 25. That's 1,900 divided by 25. What's the easiest way to work this out? I mean, it's going to come out as 76. But what's the best way to do this without a calculator? Let's say we divide the top and the bottom by 10. It's not ideal because it'll leave the bottom as a decimal. So we'll times both of those by 2. 380 divided by 5, whichever way you do that, will come out as 76. You don't have to do this to work out the actual mean. I just thought I'd show you quickly how you can do it. The explanation is enough just to say that because there's more boys than girls, it will tend closer to 80 than 70. So it will be more than 75%. That top bit is enough. This is just some extra stuff that if it confuses you, you can ignore it. Let's do question 14 at the same time. Show that this simplifies to root 13. Well, the top bit with the brackets, we really want to expand that bit first. So you've got 4 minus root 3, and you've got 4 plus root 3. So 4 times 4 gives me 16. 4 times plus root 3 gives me plus 4 root 3. Minus root 3 times by 4 gives you minus 4 root 3. Think about the sign with this first. Minus times a plus gives me a minus. And being careful, root 3 times root 3 gives you 3. Or you can think of it as root 9, which still becomes 3. So 16, the two middle bits cancel out. It's a difference of 2 squares, that's why. 16 minus 3 gives you 13. So if this top bit becomes 13, we can say that all of this is equal to 13 over root 13. Now it wants you to show that it comes out as root 13. So this comes from rationalising the denominator. If we times the top by root 13 and the bottom by root 13, the top will become 13 root 13, and the bottom, root 13 times root 13, just gives you 13. I've said 13 so many times already, but try and keep track of this. These two cancel out, and you're just left with root 13. With things like this, you can watch it through a couple of times if you feel confused, or just pause it and try and work out the steps that have been taken.